we're about to go in depth on how to find bass fast and to be able to catch them during the winter months. Right now, I want to go over, first, we're going to go over breaking down lakes. We're going to go talk about 2 lakes, and we're going to go into the footage from a recent fishing trip that I did on a lake that I've only been on to twice in a 10-year period, guys. Welcome to the Fishing Coach YouTube channel. I'm Jimmy Eastring, gone by Coach E. This first lake we're going to talk about that you're starting to see right here, Jackson Lake in Georgia. I had a video last month where I did a similar video like this where I was breaking down Lake Ouachita. And I had people in the comments, like you can right now, leave me comments on if there is a lake you would like me to talk about in a segment of a video. I had a couple comments from a couple different lakes. Thank you guys. All I did is put them in a hat, pulled them out, boom. This one was the one. Over there in Georgia, okay? It's not a deep reservoir. It's 4,000 acres or so. And the one I'm going to talk about later in the video, what you're going to see footage from is Greers Ferry, okay, which is the opposite of Jackson Lake, okay. Greers Ferry is deep, deep, deep and clear. Jackson, from what I'm seeing, is a little bit shallower, has some stained water, but a good lake. Both lakes are good, but I bet Jackson is probably better than Greers Ferry, okay. In the fishing footage, there will also be forward-facing sonar footage for you guys to learn, okay, if you have it or if you don't, okay. And so, let's get into this right here, guys. Now, one thing I will say on our fishing trip, okay, so this right here, this lake here, as you see, looks more like a little river and has some fingers on it. And on our fishing trip, guys, I'm going to go ahead and say the day we were at Greers Ferry, just to show Greers Ferry real quick, all right, open water down here, and I'm going to go to the Google Earth later. Open water down here, have a little narrow, kind of this like the little mid to upper end. But the day we're out in the lake, guys, was a 20-mile-per-hour southwest wind or west wind. I've done so many fishing trips in the last 2 weeks, I don't know exactly, but it was really windy is all I'm going to tell you. So we had to pick our area around the wind. And what I did use, guys, is the wind effects feature, the updated wind effects feature with the Deep Dive app. Already it shows the wind-blown banks and how the wind is blown, but it also shows you now the calm areas. For example, this day, when we're out there, it showed this main lake red, and it was 2 to 3 foot swells. My man Briar, who was with me, knows how to drive the boat through it. You know, down here we don't get crazy rough water like y'all guys might at Kentucky Lake, Tennessee River. We get rough, but not like y'all do. And so, but with this, we had to pick our area around it, and we picked a creek, and that's what we're going to get into today is creeks for the winter and a fast and simple approach of catching fish in the winter. One thing you hear about the winter is finding bait fish. Find the bait fish. Find the bait fish. Guys, but lately for me at Lake Ouachita, which last time I did this video of me breaking down an area, I did Ouachita. Guys, right now I'm going to tell y'all on my previous on-the-water lesson, my offshore fishing with forward-facing sonar trips, we're not catching fish around bait fish. And that's what I'm going to talk about today is there are 2 approaches. One, you find the bait fishing areas. And that's kind of the easy, simple kind of way approach. And then 2, we're going to dive into here in a bit how I've been catching them at Ouachita. Because Ouachita's a lake, when you find the bait, you find it. But guys, it's not like Texas and some of these other lakes where bait fish is everywhere. And so it's hard to find it. And your lake might be hard to find. Let's talk about Jackson. Here we go. So let's talk about a creek. So here we have the main lake. And what I'm going to do is go into the lower part. I'm just going to pick an area of the lake. All right. Now, when you look at the lower part, on this Garmin Navionics, which by the way, as you guys might know, Navionics web app is gone. It's now Garmin right here. Okay, so I'm going to pick the lower end, and that's one thing with you guys is pick an end of the lake to fish. Now, this lake here, I'm saying there are a lot of pretty cool shallow pattern things just by looking at it as you see it's shallow here. But I'm going to, like where my cursor is right there, I'm going to go ahead and cut it off. First thing is, let's say you pick this creek right here, this creek. Not much to this creek, okay? As I'm looking at it here, all right, the contours, we don't have much creek, okay? As you see, it's just kind of like, it's so blue up there, and it just kind of has like a creek. There's nothing crazy to it. But when you're looking at here, your structure here are these rounded points. Right here, you got these points. That's a straight up flat secondary point, looks like. So the first thing is does this creek have bait fish? Yes or no? If it does, that's good. Now you're going to try to look at these areas. This is related to strategy too. Look at these areas of like, hey, how can the fish use the structure and cover? Structure being your points, your high spots, your humps. Creek channel bends, your cover is going to be your wood, laydowns, timber, grass, docks. There's docks in this creek. So if there's bait fish, of course, if you have forward-facing sonar, you can drop it and start looking at the bait and seeing if the bass are around it. Now, bass are not always going to be in the bait eating it. They could be on the points. They could be on the stuff set up, as I've done that on some lakes around here even. Found the bait. Everybody's catching fish and bait right now. But the sneaky thing is finding the fish that's near bait that's not eating. Okay? But when they're around swimming the bait and stuff, yeah, I mean, you can throw at them. There's going to be a chance they're going to bite. So this scenario, that's one thing. So, for example, if there is bait in this creek, look and see if there's any on this rounded point. Or even over here, and I can't tell, like, if this is rock or not. You know, it looks like it's all like a normal, land. You got the seawall over here. Now, one thing I'll say with houses getting built and stuff, guys, there might be some concrete thrown over some bricks, so there might be some stuff thrown in the water there. But so if there's bait, just kind of, you can look for the fish around the bait, but look at the points and the stuff and the cover nearby that they could be using. Let's say there's no bait, Jimmy. Sweet, that's what I want to get into. Let's say there's no bait in this creek. Start thinking how they're going to be set up on some of these areas. Okay, if that water's stained to muddy, there's going to be some fish shallow, and you can catch them shallow. Okay, if this more stained to clear, they could be further off. They can still be up there, but look for your transition spots to where a fish can be set up on, like a rock to sand transition. Look for like how these docks are set up. Look for the docks that's going to be in the sun the longest, because in the winter, that sun, is a factor. And if you have a dock with a black, like, the black floats, if that sun's hitting it all day, that thing's going to get warm. That fish is going to know it. So that's just one thing here. Now, this one's pretty self-explanatory. There's not much in it. Here's a little bend right here. Here's a point. This is a point. This could be a little high percentage area. And, of course, as we get around here, this point's pretty noticeable. Everybody's going to hit, but they could be anywhere out here, okay? Now, as I go down the lake, I really like this creek. I really like this creek if I had to pick. Okay, you have a couple secondary points here. You have this main lake point. It looks like the image here is with the lake's low at this point. They might have a winter drawdown. Don't even know. It might have a winter drawdown. But first thing is there bait? And if there's bait all out here in the middle, the depth of it is where, of course, you might be looking for the fish. Okay, if that bait's in, 20 foot, bass is going to be around that 20 foot zone. If that bait's on the bottom, the bass is going to be on the bottom. Okay, but if there's no bait in the zone, all right, I'm still looking on these points for fish. Okay, I'm looking because that's just the easy structure spot and easy spots that they could be sitting. They could be right out here too. Let's say there's no bait in this creek, guys, and if you have gone up here, thrown a trap up here shallow, thrown your jerk bait, guys, they could be out here, and that's a deal where you're going to go out here if you're using forward face, and you can look for them on the bottom, or you can, if you don't have forward facing, get your jigging spoon, drop it out there, throw your football jig out there, drag it here. When I'm looking at the Navionics map, or the Garmin map, not Navionics web app, it's only 30, 40 foot right here, which to some people that's deep. And this lake here, it's deep to this lake, but I do not rule out fish being that deep. Now, my guys that know this lake well, tell me if I'm wrong if they'll get this deep or not. Like Jimmy, you're freaking dead wrong. They stay 10 foot or less all year, and that's fine, okay? This is not a blueback herring lake. I should have said that earlier. It's not a blueback herring, to my knowledge. I've tried to do some research to make sure it's not a blueback herring lake. But you see how these little guts and these points, these fish are going to be staging up out here as it gets cold. Okay, guys, now to Greers Ferry, where you're going to see the footage here in the second half of the video from this trip. It was windy that day, as I already said, and we already filmed a video up the river. It's a sweet video. I'll put it as an end screen. It was a shallow video over spinnerbait, old school technique, and it was a pretty cool video. I enjoyed it. But now, guys, here we are. It was windy. I wanted to come out here and catch some fish on the minnow. That's what we wanted to do, me and Briar both. We wanted to come out here and do it. And this is my second time on this lake in 10 years, as I said. So with the wind, we could not fish the main lake. Had to rule it out. And is what it is. We just had to. Now, we tried, did some of it, and we caught some fish, found some hybrids, anyway. So then with the wind, we looked at it, and we had to pick a creek. So, like, here's a creek, for example, right here. Here's a creek. And if I look at, let's pull this up. What are we doing? Then if I pull this up right here, here we go. So it was protected by the wind, and we have a true, legit creek running in here. And looking at this creek, I right away knew if there's bait fish in here, it's going to be easy to find the bass. Due to there's not many areas they can go. They're going to be funneled, and it's a deep creek, but they're going to be funneled in here. I know there's timber because it shows flooded timber. lake has timber. I love fishing timber. And there's like one point right here with the drain. And that's one thing we did when we got in the creek, okay? When we got in this creek, we found the bait fish, and I was like, voila. Now, lately, like I said, guys, at Lake Ouachita, I've been fishing these creeks without bait fish and catching them on the points, humps nearby. They've just been set up on them. They're deep right now, and they're either eating crawfish, they're going up shallow and eating some brim, or they're waiting for bait fish, which I've been there a lot, and there's not been any bait fish, so I don't know if they're eating bait fish. I mean, they're eating my bait fish when I'm throwing my little minnow at them. But here, we start up around the bait, then I worked up in a drain that was nearby by a point just to see if there was any up here shallow and on the point. Didn't find them. Then we went out there in the middle, and they were around bait. And this was fun, and you're going to get to see the footage. This is what people get mad about with forward-facing sonar, but I'm going to show you the clips, guys, show you how we did it. And we had a good day. This day went up with 13 pounds for our best 5. And like that won the tournament last weekend. I don't know if it would have won this day because each day is different, right, guys? But for this lake, 12 pounds is a good bag. And we targeted fish that was out here eating, and they were thicker. They weighed a little bit more. But part of it was, guys, is the wind and the current day. We fished the moment. We could have fished the main lake with moving baits. We could have thrown an Alabama rig up and down them windy banks. We could have done that. But we wanted to go in here and be effective with our cast and be effective while we fished. So we picked a creek that we found bait. Now, Jimmy, if there wasn't any bait, what would you do? Guys, I would look at this channel swing right here. See if there's any fish close to it or on it. Look at this point. Look at this point. Yes, I'm using forward-facing sonar. I'm going to use it. I'm lucky to have it. I'm going to use it. It's the one tool I recommend anybody looking at tools to get for your boat. Okay? Now, remember, guys, if you are new to the channel, I'll tell you, on my first boat, I didn't have a boat with side imaging or down imaging. I had a boat with no mapping. I had a boat with 2D sonar. So we've came a long ways. You can too, but you don't need to go buy 6 graphs. You don't need to buy 5 graphs. If you're looking at one tool on your boat, it is forward-facing sonar, okay? So I'm using it. I'm going to tell you I'm using it, and I'm going to help you get better with it right here in this video. You can watch it, check it out. Now, guys, before we do, real quick, the bait of choice for this day was the Strike King Baby Z2 on a queen tackle head. We were using 1/2 ounce and 5/8 ounce size heads, okay? All my information of bait and tackle will be down in the description, guys. Use my Fish USA affiliate link and help me out. There's no code. You don't get a discount, but 5% of your order comes back to me to help me continue my business, to run the channel. But we were using the Baby Z2 that day with the Strike King, or excuse me, queen tackle head. The rod, I'm going to tell you this rod, I'm going to talk about the rod real quick because I love this rod. People that have had it love this rod. The Level NGX, okay? This is a 7-1 medium light. I have an affiliate link with these guys. If you are interested, have any questions about them, send me a message on my Facebook, Instagram, but use that link and I get a % of your order. Comes back to me as well. But I love these rods, guys. And people are with me. Briar's even bought a couple after he's used them. I've had guys this past weekend that used it. They're going to get some. And I'm going 15-pound braid to a fluoro leader. It's this one's 10. I use 10 or 12. I use the Zing Katana braid with the Zing Goro fluorocarbon line. I know you see a freeloader on here. It's because I was in Texas last weekend and I put a freeloader on this rod, okay? I had 3 minnows out. Right now I'm fishing with 3 minnows, but Ouachita, they've not been eating the freeloader. Guys, they've been, Ouachita, same thing, eating this guy. Now, guys, let's get to the footage. Those have to be hybrids, huh? Big as they are, I'm not used to screen either. What, you got, minnow? Yeah, throw, yeah, go catch one. I mean, I'm just going to try to stay on them. You're there. Ah, dude, they're not setting up. Here, I'm going over here. I'm going to see if I can get their attention. They're now over here. They're now over there. I'm just going to try to stay on them. Yeah, how they're moving, they're bass.
You're trying to lead them, aren't you?
Only thing about when they're that deep, I will say, you're dang Ultrix is a little touchy. Come on, babies. Come on, babies. Come on, babies. Oh, I missed him. Oh, that's a good fish. That's a bass. Look at this dude. Welcome to Greers Ferry. Here you go, guys. First fish up here in this creek. There's a group of like 5 to 6 of these right here. And I missed the first one, and then the second one came in there and got it. Second or third one, I don't know. Good largemouth out here. And it's just a little group of these guys out here swimming along the timber. But like I said, guys, out there, big water, it is windy. And we came in here to get out of the wind. But this bait likes to move in these creeks, and we found the bait. And we went up there shallow first to kind of see if there were any up there. And now they're out here. We're going to try to see if we can catch some more.
Get them this time.
Go get it. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go try to get me one. Double up. That's what happens when you got 2 people that know how to do it. Yeah. Double action.
This one's fat.
And yours is fat. Hey, this one, we don't want to weigh this one, huh? No, yeah. That's a good one. Big old spotted spot. No, he's coming right there. I probably should not have boat flipped that fish, guys. But anyway. All right.
Ain't bass.
That ain't bass there, nope. I wanted that other massive group we saw was crappie.
I don't know, but it wasn't bass.
Yeah, not bass. Look what we have here.
What you got?
He wasn't fighting. Crazy. Yeah. Now we are. Little spotter. My camera wasn't on, guys. Nice spot. Largemouth. How about my thing wasn't on still again? Big old largemouth out here in the dang middle of this creek, dude. This is crazy. Dude, they were not as easy to catch. Sorry, guys. That's a skinny one. I just, dude, it's crazy. Like, I can, dude, he's skinny. I thought he was bigger than that, but dude, like, dude, they didn't want it as well. Like, this was like, they all shot up there, and then they were like, no. And then this dude said, oh, I'll eat it because I'm skinny. I'm skinny, Bob. Skinny, Bob. Say what? Skinny, Bob.
Way up there.
Say what?
Yeah, I threw in there when they started following yours and they freaking ran from mine.
He ain't gonna get in the live well. I'm gonna weigh him. Uh-oh. That's not a bad one.
No, patrolling motor.
Oh yeah! We're doubling up now! Doubling up now, here I am trying to weigh one. Doubling up now, here I am trying to weigh one. you. Yeah, that's why I moved out of the way. So go get you some.
It's a good one. It's a real good one.
It is. Get him in the throw, man. Yeah, get him in the throw.
It's a spot.
Go spot. Don't go for
That's what those are bass. Doink!
That's a good one. We'll take you. Little Greers Ferry skinny dude. Custom lure Widowmaker. It's like an 18-inch fish that's like skinny, dude. Look, it's like a dude. It's like a dude needs to hit the gym. Freaking Greers Ferry special.
Dude, it's so crazy to me. Like, you can come out here 10 days in a row
2-1.
in one day.
Guys, welcome back to the Faith Juice segment. Thank you for watching the video today and coming and checking out the Faith Juice segment. Real quick, this one's a good one. Came from a little Devo book that I read. Try to read daily. Sometimes I don't make it happen. But today's Devo, which is something I think that's kind of times hit me and it might hit you no matter where you're at in your life, is are you seeking God's plan for you? Okay? And sometimes we might not know what that plan actually is. I'm 32, about to be 33, and I still at times I'm like, what am I doing? You know, like, and I say that as in, when I got into college, it was, hey, I want to be a football coach, math teacher. Then I coached college football, then high school football for 12 years, and then part of it was like, hey, I want to be in education. I'm going to retire in education, and then I'm going to guide afterwards. And that's kind of like I thought my plan was, and education was great. I always thought the Lord's will was me to be around people, make impacts. Students, and education in a school setting was for that. Then all of a sudden I had this opportunity to get out, and then here we are. We started being an editor. I'm making content. I'm making an impact on people through YouTube, but I don't know them and see it. So then I'm kind of like, what am I doing here? You know, like this is different than when I was. I used to have people interaction every day. Then all of a sudden I'm not. And then all of a sudden the FCA Outdoors came along, which, guys, I'm still fundraising for that if you are wondering. I've been talking and keeping updated with my people, but the FCA Outdoors, I'm right now at 70% of my salary raised. But FCA reached out to me to be a part of them and start the outdoors piece here in Arkansas. And so I really thought that, like, hey, that's like my calling and that's my plan right now, you know. And we're working on that. It's not been near as easy as I thought. For reasons for that, inflation, this, that, there's so many stuff, whatever. But for me to work with FCA, I raised my salary through businesses, people giving $25 a month, $100 a month, $300 a month. So right now I'm there, but with FCA, guys, I'm going to be going in these schools, and I'm going to be going and finding kids and ministering to kids, take kids fishing. We're going to be doing events. Man, I'm excited about it. It's kind of like it's just kind of like, what are we going to, like, it's like there's a lot of different things we can do with it. But there are times where I'm like, over here in my head, is this my plan? Is this what God calls me to do? And right now I believe it, but we never know, guys, what our plan at times is, but we got to trust it when opportunities come. A guy I met this last weekend, he has a job, and he's over here asking me questions. Hey, you got out of something that you're comfortable in. I have my job, but I feel like there's more to my life. And there's when we start thinking that, we do got to start praying and ask for guidance and wisdom. And there are times where you might be there sitting and questioning yourself, is this my plan? Is this my calling? And so, guys, when we take these steps, it is very careful for us to pray and ask, and also talk to mentors as well, okay? And I know for me, never imagined, here I am on a Monday. I had my kids here, and there are days now with me out of education, and I'm doing what I'm doing, being a guide, content. I know I'm going to work for FCA soon, but like there are opportunities where my wife works on 1 day or 2 days a week. I get to watch the kids, to where if I was teaching, I would be teaching somebody else's kids. So Lord's blessed me on taking that step of faith out of education into another plan that I never saw happening. So guys, if you're there and you're at a chance where you're like, man, is this my plan? Okay. Hey, pray, send me a message if you have any questions about like I talked to someone this past weekend about it. And he, was like, hey, and the conversation got deep. So guys, thank you very much. You know, you hear about the Jeremiah 29:11 scripture that comes about a lot. But one I'm going to share real quick that I liked right here is Psalm 143:10. Teach me to do your will, for you are my God. May your gracious spirit lead me on level ground. So whatever we do, do for his glory. Let the spirit lead you. Guys, appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next one.